And in 3, 2, 1, let's get it. Welcome to episode 2, everybody, of the Hollywoo Reporter. My name is Dan Mendez. I'm joined with my great colleague, Matthew Mingo.
It's crack-a-lackin', everybody.
And we are talking about none other than the show, Netflix original, among other things, BoJack Horseman. We're talking about episode 2 because it's podcast number 2, and you might remember the outfits we're wearing. It's the same outfits we're wearing in episode 1.
We're recording multiple in the same day.
It is the same day. We just finished episode 1. We are now bringing you episode 2. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, episode 2.
The next half hour, 45 minutes.
Episode 2 is called BoJack Hates the Troops.
Oh, I love this episode.
You do, I do not.
I like this episode because of how simple his act was.
Yeah.
And how easy it was to just... Go ahead, explain.
Okay, so this... episode 2, quick little things. Episode 2 is written by the creator Raphael, directed by J.C. Gonzalez.
Jay-Z.
I wish. I wish it was Jay-Z. You kidding me? Just a brief description on this episode is about. Episode 2 is basically BoJack gets into a feud with a former someone who formerly was in the military, and it happens over a simple thing of BoJack steals his muffins.
Yep.
And it becomes into a whole political landscape of whether or not BoJack supports the troops or not. And
I like this episode.
It's a feud.
I like it.
You do, yeah.
It's better than episode 1.
I don't know.
You don't know that?
I think this is the worst episode.
You?
I honestly, I think I almost stopped watching.
Because of this episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay. I'm not saying I love this episode.
Yeah,
I'm not married to it.
It's not your top 5.
It's not the worst.
I
don't know which one's the worst. There's a lot of episodes.
I think this might be. The reason I don't like this episode is because I feel like the show does not know what they want to come across. Okay. Like, the whole point of the episode is BoJack is trying to write his book with Diane. They're actually sitting down to write the book now. Mm-hmm. And he keeps not wanting to talk about his past. So he does this whole thing as a way to avoid the actual work he needs to get done.
Right.
Okay, that is fine. That's a perfectly valid plot line to do in a show. Mm-hmm. I don't like it because, we're skipping ahead here a bit. I don't like it because it feels like at the end, it feels wrapped up in a way that doesn't feel organic. Like, all of a sudden, BoJack is like, I'm willing to talk to you now, Diane, about my personal life. And it feels like it's not earned.
Right.
And from a storytelling perspective, I don't like
so
that.
So it's more than just the muffins.
It's more than just the muffins. I don't really like that plot line. I think they could have figured out a better way to do it. But I feel like as a story, it just doesn't work. Like, most episodes of BoJack are like 25 minutes long.
Yeah. And
I feel like I go through them pretty quickly. Like, oh man, we're like 20 minutes in already? Like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
That
one dragged.
This one dragged. I was checking the timer a lot. Like, oh man, we're only at the 8-minute mark. Like,
yeah.
And it introduces a lot of characters I love, like the whale, who does the news, voiced by the great Keith Olbermann. It introduces him. You get some pretty fun Mr. Peanut Butter bits. Let's break down the stories for everyone else.
Right.
So let's go over some of the minor ones first before we divulge more into BoJack's. I feel like.
Okay. I don't have notes. I promise that'll change, but I'm just going off of what you have.
Yeah. So you have because the other ones are so minor, we can get them pretty quickly. Todd gets into a catfish relationship with a random woman.
Yes. That's great.
I like that.
But it's very quick. Very quick. They didn't really do anything.
It's in like 3 scenes. Like, it's in the beginning.
They didn't really. I actually kind of forgot about that. That's how much they put it in.
Exactly. It happens right at the beginning. Todd's on the couch again, and he's talking.
He's half dressed.
He's half dressed, which it's a cool bit. Actually, I like that. It's a cool bit. He's talking to this girl who he met in an online chat room, I believe, and it turns out that she is she's trying to steal his identity, and Todd has nothing.
Yeah.
And Todd does not realize he's being taken advantage
So
of.
she's catfishing him, and in a way, he's catfishing her.
Yeah, well, he's just trying to get an actual relationship, and he has no idea she's...
But he accidentally is like catfishing.
being catfish. Yeah, it's quite humorous, and it comes out around the time I think the catfish thing was pretty big on. Like I think there was the movie and TV show.
Yeah.
So it feels very topical at the time. That happens. I like that plot. That's fine, and it kind of it weaves its way into the normal story a little bit. You have Mr. Peanut Butter doing a reality show.
Yes.
That is something that
That is great.
I thought it could have been better at least, but I like the idea.
So pretend they're not here. Okay. Can you speak up?
With the boom, it's like that stuff was fine. Like I like that stuff because that feels organic to Mr. Peanut Butter. Yeah. That his character feels like that's something Mr. Peanut Butter would do. I don't like a lot of the jokes besides the boom op one. That was really funny.
Boom in the shot.
That was really cool. But the rest of that storyline feels like we mentioned.
Did you notice that they do that all the time? It's like a guy off in the distance, like there's a boom in the shot.
They do it, so that's hidden joke.
Yeah.
It's a nice little.
I like that little.
It's a little nice thing. It felt like a lot of storyline felt like we talked about in the first one. Felt like the pilot felt a little first drafty, like it could use a rewrite. That plot line. The reality show one felt like a good idea. It just needed to rewrite. Yeah. It needed to be punched up a little bit.
Aren't you the horse from horsing around?
Like that.
That's a recurring one.
That's a recurring one. I'm trying to think. Like that storyline. It also weaves into the end because BoJack goes on the show. And basically, like Princess Caroline's playing PR the whole episode, trying to like get BoJack to apologize.
Yeah.
So they're basically, what I think the show is setting up is BoJack is the main character, of course, because his name's in the show. And all the other characters around him are kind of just, they're going to check in, check out of plots. And I think that is a big part of BoJack's, this episode. I think that's a problem with it. I think the show's at its strongest was an ensemble. Okay. Where every character's getting their own thing to do.
Is there any good points of this?
In this episode?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's a hard...
Does it do anything good? I mean...
I like that Patton Oswalt voices the Navy SEAL.
Yeah. Doesn't he do... He does two voices.
He does a bunch of the voices. He does the Penguin, too. From the Pet Publishing Company. And he did Charlie Rose.
Yep.
So,
I love Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt's amazing.
I think he's a very underused actor.
He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but no one really remembers him.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I know that guy. He's Spence from King of Queens. Or he's, he's the principal from AP Bio. Rest in peace, just got canceled.
Did it?
It did. Breaking news. Came out a couple days ago.
Man, I need to where do you get your news from? I need to get my news from.
Twitter.
Okay.
There's some websites too.
Right.
Like 2 by the Numbers is really good.
Well, BoJack is coming back, so that's what's.
That is good. It's been renewed, so we're very excited for that. So and now we can just go into BoJack's plot, I guess, because that's the main focus of the episode.
Yeah.
Little
spin-off, sorry.
He goes to a oh man, I'm blanking on a supermarket.
Yeah, he goes to a supermarket.
Goes to a supermarket. Goes to check out groceries, and all of a sudden he sees a box of muffins.
Right.
In the
produce section.
In the produce section.
And he's just looking at them.
And he just takes them because they're there, and he goes to go purchase them, and the seal stops and says, "You stole my muffins."
Actually, I don't think he goes to purchase them.
He's
just looking at them, and he's like, "Oh, that's my muffins," and he's like, "These are no one's muffins."
Like they're in the produce section, and the seal's like, "I left them there so I can get something else."
I feel like this is actually a real life. I mean, not like it didn't drag on as big, but I'm sure that's actually happened before.
I'm sure
where someone leaves something in the wrong section on purpose.
I'm sure one of the writers pitched that, being like, what happened
to me the other day?
Yeah, like I was in the produce section. Someone left the thing of mangoes. That makes more sense. But like, someone left the thing of note cards there all of a sudden, and it's like, and then I went to go take them, and
someone's like, "Those are mine."
And
they're no one's. They're not paid for yet.
Exactly, and it's not even in your cart where you have the.
I do that all the time.
Really?
I forget my wallet in my car, so I leave whatever I'm holding on a shelf.
Really?
Yeah, but it's never like that.
It's never happened to me.
It's never that risky because I'm like, okay, if someone takes this one, I just go and get it.
Yeah,
I didn't pay for it.
That was the last
That's
box.
The last one.
Muffins.
That's risky.
And BoJack, being so stubborn, decides I'm going to steal them. I'm going to take them from the guy, I'm going to buy them, and then it turns out the guy's a Navy SEAL, and he goes on the air, and he tries to make it a political thing about the troops, and BoJack plays into that because he's trying to avoid writing his book. It's so weird. I think the fact that he says, I left them there so no one takes them, makes me hate this episode.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
it's like...
this could have been better.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're trying to make a joke, and, like, how ridiculous this is. Like, how stupid, like, the idea of this is the funny part of it. But I feel like that is a very, lazy way of writing comedy. Instead of writing a good joke there, they said, isn't it funny that this, how stupid this is?
Yeah.
And I felt
I feel like there are people out there that'll do that.
They
like,
do.
Those are mine.
Exactly. I just didn't think
It's like, just go to another store, man.
I know, like, this felt like a really bad way to get the plot going. I know for, like, movies and TV shows, you need you need that disbelief from reality to get the plot going. Yeah. But I felt like there are better ways to do this type of plot, and I've seen them done
we talked about this in the last episode we just did.
Yeah.
That the first 3 are rough. First 5 are rough.
First 5 are rough.
First 5 are
they get gradually better, but this is a huge step back.
Do you think they had a different group of writers?
I think they just found the voices of the characters, and they found that some characters work better together. Like, you see in this episode, they're starting to pair BoJack off a little bit, so, like, BoJack is with Diane a lot in this episode, because we didn't get a lot of Diane in the last one, so we need to have more of her to understand her character.
Yeah.
And I think why future episodes work better is because, like I said in the last one, Diane is our audience surrogate.
Right.
She is us. We're seeing the world through her eyes a bit.
Right, because she's in charge of, like, sort of...
writing the book
analyzing BoJack.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we're doing, she's doing in the show.
Exactly.
So all that goes on. And it ends up being a big political thing. Like, BoJack goes on MSNBC, which is...
Well, because he didn't know that was
he didn't know he was a Navy SEAL.
A Navy SEAL.
SEAL McBeal. Like,
I love that.
It's a great name.
He's a Navy SEAL.
He's like, it's funny. They do that though.
Yeah.
They do that.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good joke. I'm so glad the characters never come back.
Yeah.
That character's never made a reappearance.
Well, Vanessa Gecko is.
They reference.
You would think it's. Yeah. They reference her.
Yeah.
But we actually meet her eventually.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything, but she's not a gecko.
No, she's not. She's not. It's a really good misdirect. Yeah.
Because you're like expecting this person, and it's not.
It's really good. It's actually a really good.
Because everyone's like Horseman. It's a horse.
Horseman.
Anyway.
It's a seal, same thing. Yeah. They do that a bunch. Mr. Peanut Butter, you expect him to be a dog. You expect him to be a dog.
Yeah.
So, like, that happens. They go back to his house a bunch of times. You know, Diane asks some personal questions, and you get, again, a lot of cutaway jokes to BoJack's childhood.
Which is great, because you only get more and more of those.
We learn more about BoJack's childhood. We don't do it necessarily through...
Much later on.
We don't necessarily do it through cutaways. We do it through flashbacks.
Yeah.
Which I know, like, does not sound like a big difference, but there is.
There's a whole thing later on where we learn a lot. More about his parents.
Yes.
Than BoJack itself.
And now that I think of it, I think the reason they go away from the cutaway jokes, one, it's totally not the show.
No.
I think
it's played out.
Exactly. I think they learned that flashbacks work better for them.
Yeah.
That we don't, like, first of all, we don't need the cutaways to other jokes.
I like the flash forwards.
The flash forwards are cool.
30 seconds later.
Those are funny.
Yeah.
Those are fine. But I think when they do flashbacks, it works because the flashbacks are done more dramatically. You learn very depressing things about BoJack's life. Yeah. You learn that his parents are terrible. You learn that no matter how much fame he gets, even back then, he's never truly happy because he just knows it's going to go away at some point. And that's the price of fame in BoJack's mind. You know that it's great for now, but eventually you're going to be depressed. And he sees it coming. So all this takes place, the SEAL debacle, SEAL McBeal, the whole thing. BoJack goes on and off MSNBC, which is spelled MSNB, and then it's a C like the ocean.
S-E-A?
Because it's the whale host. I love the whale. He's great. And they're having
McBeal, the Navy SEAL.
And he's having this political argument about, BoJack says, does the troops matter? And BoJack's response is he does not think the troops are heroes.
Just because you give someone a gun doesn't make them a hero.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a couple things.
But there's a little bit of a point there.
There is a point there, and I agree with BoJack.
if you're a veteran, thank you for your service.
No, of course. Thank you for
saying,
listening if you're a veteran.
Yes.
I appreciate your protecting us and whatnot. But he does have a strange point where there are many of kids I went to high school with who went into the military who should not be given a weapon.
Exactly.
Who are not good people, who are still, I'm going to presume, not good people based on their Facebook comments. So,
yeah.
So,
I mean, if you're a jerk before you go in the military and you're a jerk after you get in the military, that doesn't make you less of a jerk.
Yeah, and...
It just makes you a veteran who is a jerk.
There's
a separation there.
Yeah, there's a great episode of the Carmichael Show that handles this, where they handled the veteran thing, and how the father of the main character is like, you gotta, thank you for, he wants to, says, Gerard, you gotta thank him for his service. He goes, no, he bullied my brother, and he left my friend when she was pregnant. Like, he is not a good person.
Well, there you go.
So, I think...
It's not a license.
Exactly. And the thing is, the show's not trying to make that point, it just wants BoJack to have a moment of like, oh, why would you say that?
Yeah.
And another thing that doesn't play well in 2019, I know the show's like 2012, 2013, celebrities trying to be political, when they don't know anything about politics, is something we saw a lot.
Well, we see more politics later on.
We do with which they do really well.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty good.
The thing is, I think they're trying to make a commentary on how even back then celebrities would go on Fox News or MSNBC and they would talk about politics not knowing anything. Yeah. I know they're trying to satire
because politics doesn't matter to celebrities. They got money.
They got money, and
nothing that happens in Washington really affects celebrities.
There's a fakeness even if they're speaking out against like the 1%. Yeah. Because they are the 1%. Yeah. So there's like a falseness there, and so I know they're trying to satirize it, but it's really sad. Like, and it makes me feel really depressed watching it, being like, nothing has changed. We still have Ted Nugent thinking he knows things about politics. We still have this. We have, oh man, like, it's sad. Right. In 2019, but so that happens. He goes on a few times and tries to argue, make his point, but he just keeps digging himself deeper and deeper and deeper, and he just to avoid writing this book. But the sad thing is, when we start to learn more about BoJack's childhood, about his parents, about how his dad was terrible, how his mom was also terrible. It's interesting. Right. And I know
But then they go back in and like, why were they terrible? Were they always terrible?
I guess to me, I'd rather have had more of those clips. Even, like, I understand they were not going to give us the answers in the second episode and dive as deep as I want them to. But I'd rather them have done more of that and less of Seal McBeal. And those parts of the episode really irks me. I really, like...
I didn't think it was that bad.
I know,
now that you're talking about it, I get it.
But why do you... I'm crapping on it. Why do you like this episode?
I don't know. I just like the premise of, calling dibs on something that's not
yours, actually. Yeah.
Like, it's in a supermarket, it's fair game,
Unless it's in your cart.
True.
You're thinking, though, how can I take that out? Yeah. How can I take that Muffins out of the cart?
But that's honestly the only part of the episode I remember. But if you... Talking about other parts of the episode, I get it. I get
it doesn't...
It takes away.
Yeah. They also, like, I think they're reusing jokes a lot in this episode. Like, the food joke they reuse again. It's like, you
said in the last podcast, there's a lot of food.
A lot of food humor. And it's the same one. So you had in the pilot, you had the bread joke, where BoJack does not realize he ate 10 baskets of bread. And you had the BoJack drank more alcohol than he thought he did. Yeah. And you have this again, where BoJack's like, I'm gonna eat all these muffins. Like, oh man, that's a lot of calories. Yeah. And then he's like, he eats all the muffins.
You bought these muffins this morning.
Like, and they keep reusing that, and it's just like, it's episode 2. We're already going back into the well of jokes already. Like, did you guys really like these food jokes? Yeah. Like, is this like, if it's a Raphael-ism, like how there's Sorkin-isms or Palladino-isms or Lynch-isms, you can argue. Like, why? Is this like, does he really like food jokes? Is it just like, I got my own show finally, I'm going to cram as many food jokes as possible? Like, I love his work, of course, but it just felt like a weird retread in an episode that we didn't really need the retreads. Sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose. Like, I kind of get it if it was a network show. Yeah. Because you don't know if people watched the first episode. It's true. So you want to read...
BoJack was not necessarily... You said this in the last episode. BoJack, yeah, I got it.
Yeah. BoJack doesn't necessarily. It shouldn't be binged.
It shouldn't be. But,
it's gonna make you depressed.
But the thing is, on a network show you would reuse the same joke maybe because you want to restate the plot of the show in case people who have not seen the show would know what they're watching. So it makes sense that Diane's allowed in the second episode too because it's shown that this is the plot of the show. Diane's writing a book about BoJack's life. And that's fine. That's great. But the thing is, on Netflix, you are already assuming people have watched the show, watched the first episode. So to reuse all these jokes, it just feels like it feels weird. Lazy might not be the right word. It just feels weird
and unnecessary.
Right.
Because I really don't know anyone who watches a Netflix show and goes, I'm going to start with episode 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird choice. Netflix shows were new at the time too.
That's true. This is one of the first originals.
This is
2011, right?
I think so. Yeah, this is like the third or fourth one. Like the House of Cards.
Which I was surprised because I didn't find it until
years later,
college, 2016.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So you found it a little late. You found it around season 4 came out.
I might have found it in high school. I'm not sure, but I finished it. Oh God, I finished it for the first time about 4 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And I really liked it.
No, 2014 it came out.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Right,
so a little bit after high school.
So, yeah. I graduated high school in 2016.
Oh, wow. So you're still, yeah. I was a year out of high school at the time.
Yeah.
So, no, but that's the thing. Like, the show, since it was new, maybe they thought people might jump in a few episodes in, but I have a hard time believing that. Regardless,
yeah,
it's a weird.
It's tough.
Choice.
I'm a firm believer that BoJack was not meant to have as many seasons as it did. They changed something. Was it writers? Was it, the way they thought about the show?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm curious if they wrote
because the way the first couple episodes go, it doesn't necessarily entail a show that's going to be very successful.
I'm curious if it became more of a collaborative type of project as it went on. Like I'm curious if it started.
Because it's also on TV, right?
No, just Netflix.
I thought it was on like Comedy Central.
It's on Comedy Central now. Like they air reruns of it. Yeah.
Right.
I'm curious if when the show started, it was like the guy, Raphael, had like, I have a vision, this is my show, it's going to be like how Aaron Sorkin wrote every episode of his shows, or how Amy Sherman-Palladino wrote every episode basically of Gilmore Girls. I wonder if that was the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then he realized that's not how you should make a TV show. And it's just a collaborative medium. And I'm very curious if that was the plan in the beginning, but then he realized, writers can pitch in.
Right.
And I could be off base completely, and I'm wrong to have someone corrects me. But I feel like maybe that was the thing. Other people start pitching in ideas.
Right.
Like it wasn't such an auteur thing.
It is a bit tough though.
Yeah.
Because it goes through quality check, right? But you don't know what the show is going to become until it happens, right?
You don't, and you find it.
So the person that's quality checking this is like, well, if this is the best we can do, then let's put it out.
And comedy's harder.
Right.
Because it takes you a while to find the voice.
And especially if you have a whole season already made.
Yeah.
And the quality checking, like, wow, episode 6 was great.
Yeah.
But episode 2 is terrible.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Exactly. And that's like... And on streaming, it's a little difficult because you don't... Like, it's not like you've seen the show before. And you know... Like, this is a new show on streaming. Mm-hmm. So, you might stop after episode 2. Because you're like, I didn't... First one was okay. Second one I hated.
Well, on television...
Yeah.
Traditional television...
It's week to week.
You have a whole week to process the episode.
Yeah.
And to kind of forget about it, kind of thing.
Yeah, you could.
So, by the time the next week comes out, your weeks are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Right? I speak for myself. My, Monday to Friday is typically the same.
Yeah.
So my, television watching habits, if I'm watching traditional television, is going to be the same. So I'm like, okay, I watched this show last week. I completely forgot the episode from last week. I only remember the highlights.
Yeah.
You watch it again. But when you're binge watching, it's literally watching a movie. It's almost seamless.
It is.
Seamless.
It is. And I do think with streaming, though, you do lose details. Like, you lose... Everything blends together, so it seems like one big thing just happened, which is good and bad. I feel like it really kills an episode, because you might not remember individual episodes, you just remember individual moments. Right. But it can happen the same thing with traditional television.
I can imagine someone that, say, watched How I Met Your Mother as it came out. As it came out.
Yeah.
And then when it was on Netflix, watched every episode back to back to back, and probably were like, wow, I get it. You know?
Yeah.
Because think about it, if you put a show down for about a week and come back to it, you forget what happened in the last couple of episodes.
You do.
Because there's things that bleed into other episodes. And BoJack's kind of the same, but it's also kind of episodic.
It's very... They're trying to be both. And 90% of the time, they find that fine line.
Yeah. I feel like we lost our way, though. Did we lose our way?
No, we're still doing good.
Okay, cool.
We're still doing good. Don't worry.
Sorry, this is my first podcast.
No, we're doing great. This is my second one, so... Yeah. No, we're doing good. I think that really fit well into our discussion of the show. Another thing I had here is I feel like this is a really good 5-minute sketch idea.
Okay.
Like, the McBeal stuff, I feel like it's a
sketch.
Good 5 minutes.
It's not a show.
It's not
an episode.
When you stretch it to 25, you start to see the holes in it, and you start to see the repetitive nature in storytelling, which is fine. Like, in other shows...
Let's close the garage.
which is fine if that's what they want to make, but it feels like... I've talked about this a lot with other people. Comedy should be compressed. Like,
I mean, if you look at stand-up, it's pretty quick.
It's quick. Jokes
especially
quick.
5-minute sets.
Exactly, and TV comedy should be the same way.
Yeah.
Like, how many times do you watch a comedy film and it's 90 minutes long, and you go like, "There's a lot of filler here."
Yeah.
Like, that didn't work. When you watch a sitcom, it's 22 minutes. It's tight.
Yeah.
Joke on joke on joke. That's what you
want.
want.
They call it a tight 5.
Exactly. That's what you want. I feel this should have been a type 5. Yeah. I know they can't do it because
it's that old Seinfeld joke. It's like, oh, this comedy stuff I don't have to think about too much.
Exactly.
If you say it fast enough and you're, hitting all the right notes.
Yeah.
No one's gonna really have time to pick holes in your punchlines.
No, they're not. Yeah. And no one's gonna get bored.
Right.
Like, when you make a TV show, and Donald Glover said this the best about his show Atlanta. He goes, "I am not just competing against what's on at the same time. I'm not just competing against what's on Netflix. I'm competing against videos on Instagram that are 10 seconds long.
Yeah.
I'm competing for your attention."
There's so much I had a conversation with one of our good friends, Connor.
Yeah.
We do want to get on the show.
Friend of the show.
On how there is just so much content out there.
There is.
Especially video content.
I agree.
Like YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon.
It's ridiculous. YouTube.
You can't consume as much as you think you can.
You can't. I'm someone who watches a lot of TV shows, and I can't consume as much as I
watch more YouTube and Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's just a lot.
There is.
Especially if you're busy, you can't keep up.
And that is why...
So you need to grab people's attention.
If BoJack came out today...
It wouldn't...
I don't think it gets renewed.
No, because...
I think because...
People are more impatient because there's just so much more.
This is right before... there was the boom already of peak TV we were in, but this was right before all these other streaming services took off.
Exactly.
So this was still when Netflix having originals was novel and you would check them out.
It's... The time we're living in is... You think of a movie... Oh, like the other day, I thought of the movie Falling Down. With, you ever see it?
I haven't seen it.
With... What's his name? Forgot his name. But I thought of it, and you just search it on TV.
And you find
it'll show you, hey, it's free here, it's $2.99 to rent here, and you do it. And that has never been a thing.
And that's
until now.
So like if you're watching in 2019, if you're watching this episode of BoJack, and you all of a sudden you think of like, it'd be really cool to watch right now, like, oh, I would love to watch Old School.
Yeah.
And then you
just watch it.
And you Google Old School and it comes up and you can rent it, you can watch it somewhere else. You could might have the DVD. You're competing for their attention.
So not only you're competing with the new episodes,
you're
also competing with reruns now.
You are. Exactly, and that's why BoJack, I think, is somewhat lucky that it premiered in 2014.
Yeah.
Right before this bubble happened of streaming services. And you were competing for people's attention before then, don't get me wrong, but it's worse now.
Yeah.
And I think if this episode aired, like not aired, or dropped now, and I watched episode 2, and I went, I might not go back.
Right.
Because I might be like, well, I have to catch up on Riverdale. I have to catch up on... You know, I'm watching Lost right now. Oh, hey, you know what? There are other sitcoms I should be watching. Like, why am I devoting 30 minutes
I think
per
that's
episode
why
to
a
this?
lot of good shows go down the tubes.
Yeah.
Because they have 1 or 2 episodes that are not and you end up not finishing the season.
Yeah.
And Netflix sees that. Netflix sees, people are dropping off at episode 6.
Exactly.
And they just don't renew that. Like, Santa Clarita Valley.
Great show. Got canceled, though. It got canceled. It's a great show, though.
On a cliffhanger.
I felt, though, I felt they wrapped some things up, though.
You did. I think it deserved at least 1 more season.
I agree with you. I would have loved to see 1 more season.
Same thing
of that show.
with Maisel. I started watching it. I think it's good for another season, but any more would be...
Yeah. I haven't seen season 2 yet, but...
season 2 is good.
I'm looking forward to watching it. But to our points about this episode, you like it more than I do, but at the same time, it's an episode that you want to put your best foot forward in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like...
They just didn't.
They didn't. And you could maybe forgive the pilot, because you're like, first episode, that's tough. This is a really weird concept for a show.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Episode 2, you figure like, all right, maybe they're going to start showing us what the show's going to be weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is the show, and it's not the show we know it's going to be, why would you keep watching?
Yeah. And
that is like my overall biggest problem is why should I keep watching the show? And when we get to episode 3, I like that much better.
Okay.
So
would you say there's like a good ramp up into the good stuff? Or is it like pilot, okay, this episode,
yeah.
Third is the pilot the best episode?
Like third is pretty good.
Yeah.
This is the I think this might be the worst. Like this is the worst the show is.
Right.
We don't know what the next season will be like when they premiere it. Whenever that's going to be, there's no release date for the new season. But
I'm excited for it.
Me too, and we'll get to there eventually.
If they continue on the same track they're on.
And they've been on a really good track for really 4.5 seasons.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
It's really impressive. Not many shows are only good for a season.
I mean, Archer is good, but they're constantly trying new things. You ever watch Archer?
Nah.
Archer's pretty good.
I've been told I like it.
They're coming out with a new one.
I like the idea of Archer. They just keep changing.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's like a very long movie.
I've heard, and I've heard really good things about it.
Each season's like a big long movie.
Exactly, and that's fine. Yeah. I like the idea of Archer. So let's I got a segment here.
Okay. We're at what,
32 minutes?
32 minutes.
So I got a segment for you. Celebrity gossip.
Celebrity gossip.
What does BoJack do in this episode that gets him in the paper? It's definitely going on MSNBC.
MSNBC and disparaging all the fans.
Disparaging.
Is disparaging the right word?
I think it's the right word.
Yeah.
He disparaged the veterans. He gets in the paper. He's in like People or and actually no, I don't think he gets People because he's not a big enough star.
Also, he's not a person.
That's true. He's on Animal. He's on Animals. He gets in like Us Weekly or it's really bad. It's the Inquirer or something.
Right.
Or he's on a blog.
Yeah.
He's on a blog.
Yeah.
And it's like, did you see BoJack Horseman? It's like a knockoff of TMZ. It's like, did you see BoJack Horseman is calling saying the veterans are not important, that they're jerks, and and then it's like people don't realize because it's on at like 1 p.m. on MSNBC. It's not even like prime time.
Yeah. It's great.
So it's like he gets the attention, but no one cares.
Yeah. I don't know. Celebrity gossip.
Anything else BoJack does that like you just...
In this episode?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
So he ends the episode, he's on the roof with Diane.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is a callback.
Callback.
It's a callback to the first episode, right?
No, they
or
meant
to the earlier.
In the episode, they talk about how Diane and her father would go on the roof and watch. We don't know if that's true or not because I think she's trying to get BoJack to open up to her.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, she mentions that earlier in the episode.
Yeah, because the reality show, she can only work on the roof because
that's right too. Yeah,
they don't have permits to film on the roof
because of insurance, which is a true thing.
Yeah,
that's a really cool true thing to throw in there. I think he's on the roof. Some photographer sees it, takes a picture.
Yeah,
and it's BoJack is suicidal or something. 90s TV star BoJack Horseman is suicidal. But here's the thing. In the article, it's not... BoJack's name is the smaller one. It's 90s TV star BoJack Horseman almost jumps off roof at Mr. Peanut Butter's. And then it's a whole thing...
Very suggestive.
It's a whole thing about Mr. Peanut Butter's reality show.
Yeah.
So I think...
I also love how they use the reality show as an apology tool.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're just going to go on my reality show and apologize.
Which is something that, like, I don't know if that happens.
Never know.
Do you think Mr. Peanut Butter is a big enough... Is he, like, the type of star that has a reality show?
I mean, you don't really see Bob Saget with a reality show, do you?
Is Mr. Peanut Butter Bob Saget? I thought he was more Dave Coulier.
I'm just trying to relate to, like, old...
Yeah, it's a weird... I think maybe he would have a reality show.
Seinfeld doesn't have a reality show, but he has like a talk show.
Yeah, but that's his own thing.
Like an interview show.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, BoJack doesn't have...
No, but he has a book. He's got that book. He's got that book coming out.
He's got the book in the works.
He's got the books in the works that within one episode we're not really sure, like, how much of this book's been written.
Did they ever establish which one came first? Horsing Around or Mr. Peanut Butter's house?
No, I don't think so.
No?
There's a cool little...
Like, who copied who?
I think it's... I think BoJack kind of makes it seem like they copied him.
Right.
But
who knows? They never...
Because the shows are very similar. BoJack had a show about how he adopted 3 orphans.
Yeah.
Mr.
Peanut Butter adopted 2 twins.
2 twins, yeah. And it's Mr. Peanut Butter's house and Horsing Around and...
But then again, that was like the premise for every single 90s sitcom was a family.
It's very... Yeah, so like BoJack, I'm sure in this universe there are those other type of TV shows.
Minus Seinfeld. But...
Yeah, but ABC did a lot of these shows.
Yeah. It's always like, Sister, and...
Home Improvement. Boy Meets World.
It's always... that's like a genre. It
is. No,
family, but there's like something...
They've been doing those since the 50s.
Yeah.
Like, those are very... Because they're easy to keep making. They're easy just to produce. But
relatable.
But the show that BoJack is... They're parodied in is a 90s sitcom.
Right.
It's Full House. It's Home Improvement.
Yeah.
It's one of those type of shows. So it's really funny BoJack saying that, like, oh, they ripped off me, is very much how, like, Jack White claims the Black Keys ripped off him, where, like, people point down, you're like, hey, Jack White, you did not invent blues rock. BoJack, you did not invent this type of sitcom. He didn't.
No, it was always around.
But BoJack's very egotistical, and he thinks that, like, he was a big part of this. So, let's rate the episode.
Rate the episode. I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first. You like this one more.
Like it. I don't know. I think it's okay. Yeah. But you brought up some good points. I have to give you that.
Thank you.
That sort of bring my initial reaction to this episode down to...
If I didn't bring this up, what would you rank it at?
6.
Okay. What is that now?
4.
Okay. I think this is like a 2.5.
Really?
I do not like this episode.
Mm-hmm. Well.
It's an episode I wish that they just...
It's rough because thanks to the writers of BoJack, now our podcast is off to a rough start because we have nothing to talk about. We're just spreading all the mud all over.
I think we found some good stuff though. We
episode 3 is gonna
be really good because I liked episode 3 a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give it like a 2. Not a great one.
Okay.
It's
skippable.
It's very skippable because you can go into episode 3 and a lot of the same stuff is gonna happen. Like you're not missing much. There's nothing really, I don't think, big that's gonna make the plot. Like you're not gonna miss anything plot wise.
Right.
So it's kind of like if you skip like.
Well, did I say this in this episode or the last one? I don't know, but I remember I I was able to like start over again
Yeah.
to watch it fully from like episode 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was like, what happened? And I went and I watched the pilot again.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Todd, this is his situation.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I remember. And I could just keep on going from 4, 5, 6, you know. But, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
In terms of what I can think of. Do you have any more notes?
Let's look at my notes quickly. I will say there's one great thing about this episode. There is that sneezing joke.
Yes.
Where the picture they use of BoJack is him sneezing. I forget who he's sneezing at, but the picture is hilarious. I thought it was really funny. That was something I did laugh out very, 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 very intently. Also, there was Mr. Peanut Butter's house. He has a bowl of tennis balls.
There you go.
I thought that was hilarious. That's a great time.
I noticed that later on.
Yeah, that's why if you look around BoJack a lot, like there's a lot of great hitting jokes.
Yeah.
Let's just move into we'll end it with our plugs.
Our plugs.
All right.
You can go first.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Please leave us a review and rate us. It helps us get noticed more.
Yes.
You can find me at Mingolingo Kingo on Instagram. The Mingo is in on Twitter.
There you go.
And we are going to we're going to make an Instagram and Twitter account for the show.
Yeah, so we're just focusing on getting episodes
done.
filmed and recorded.
You'll be able to find the information in the show notes, though.
Right, so everything will be down in the description. If you are listening to this on SoundCloud or wherever we have the audio, we have video on YouTube. We're recording this right now. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe.
Yes.
And follow and all that good stuff. My name, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is Dan Mendez. You can follow me at both my Instagrams, at DurfDaddyDan and at overtake.media. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
You've been listening to the Hollywoo Reporter.
Yeah, thank you for all of your support so far. And we're looking forward to more episodes.
Yeah. See you next time.
Thanks, guys.